The Walt Disney Company is putting out all kinds of statements, and the access media is carrying water for them, declaring that Pixar is doing fantastic, and Elemental, their latest film when it came to Disney Plus, well, it garnered more views than many of your favorite shows out there combined. The truth seems a little less so. And the reason we know so is because CEO Bob Iger, well, he told investors something that leads us to believe Pixar has a very big problem. Hello folks, welcome back to another video of excellence here on the WDW Pro channel, where we endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve. We do so by telling the truth, and we love doing it. Thank you for being a part of the video, and thank you to Steve from Under a Rock for being here. That is plural, from under a rock, of course. Steve, welcome back to the channel.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. Looking forward to talking about this.
Let's dive into this. Folks, this is one of those that you might hang under the category of they doth praise too much. This out of the direct, and it's one of many articles that look just like this one. This one by David Thompson. Disney issues statement on Elemental streaming viewership following flop reports. That's right. People think that Elemental didn't do well. It didn't. It lost money at theaters. It did have a better hold than I think many people were anticipating, but it still lost money. And now, of course, Disney is pushing back on the situation on Disney Plus. Here's what this has to say. But you could go and find this on many, many different websites out there because, well, they're covering what Disney has said. Disney has issued a statement on Elemental's streaming success following reports that the film was a box office flop. Folks, it's not reports. It was. It's a box office flop. It just is. I mean, we've run the numbers here many times on this channel. It's a flop. After a slow start in theaters, Elemental earned just $29.6 million during its opening weekend in North America, one of the worst in Pixar history. However, it says it went on to become the 17th highest earning Pixar film. And folks, given the age of inflation in which we live, that is what we call terrible. But it's not as catastrophic as it could have been because, well, it had a nice hold comparative to what it was doing at the beginning. In turn, it appears audiences are still showing up to watch the film on Disney Plus following its September 13th debut. Here's what this says. In an official press release, so you know it's true, Disney has reacted to Elemental's release on Disney Plus. The latest Pixar film earned 26.4 million views in its first 5 days of streaming.
Wow.
Disney is stating that this is the most watched movie premiere of the year on Disney Plus and among its top 10 movie premieres of all time. Now, there's just one problem here. We said this last week. It's just been days ago. Disney came out. They shouted to the heavens how successful Ahsoka was. Samba TV was wrong. Samba TV was wrong. Well, Nielsen came out with their ratings. Turns out Samba TV was right. Turns out that Ahsoka's ratings were just all right. And it turns out that Bluey, the cartoon dog out of Australia, actually beat Ahsoka's debut with about 100 minutes. That's the length of a movie. And yet still, Samba TV, with the correct analysis there, that Bluey blew away Ahsoka. Now, they want us to believe, Steve, that we should believe their numbers now, right? So even though they may have misled us about Ahsoka just a wee little bit, well, they want us to believe that Elemental is the most popular thing since sliced bread. Maybe more popular than bread. Who knows? They'll take on pizza and hamburgers next. But, Steve, should we believe Disney on this or not?
Oh, I think we should take them at their word up until we see the real numbers. It's good because when did the movie get released? It was just this past week, right?
Yes, we'll have to wait for Nielsen numbers.
Yeah, so we'll see Nielsen in about 2 more weeks now. So,
and the funny thing is, Steve, guess what? This is the cool thing. Elemental has about the same runtime as the first 2 episodes combined of Ahsoka. So we will literally get a comparison of how it performed versus Ahsoka, and we know Ahsoka was beaten by a preschool cartoon dog show.
And about that preschool cartoon dog show, the latest 25 or 26 episodes came out about middle of the summer. And so you're looking at 4 months ago. And
all right, Steve, let me adjust. The debut combined episodes of Ahsoka were defeated by reruns of a cartoon preschool dog family.
And that's the key. And so, because
That's
those
right.
episodes go back to like 2018. And so people are living off of probably, if we tally all of the episodes of Bluey, what, 3 hours of content? Not even.
Probably. And you know what? Kids are not just sitting there consuming Bluey for 5 and 6 hours. Surely they have parents somewhere in the vicinity. So, it's funny to me, but actions speak louder than words, Stephen. That's what we said back then. It's what we said yesterday when we covered Disney's mea culpa by Bob Iger to investors, where he has said that they're going to lower the noise when it comes to the culture war. They essentially want out of it. Well, we're saying, that's fine. But just like Tom Cruise yelled, "Show me the money," we're saying, show us the action. So when Disney decides that they will get out of the culture war, then we'll believe they really want out of the culture war. And in this case, when Disney says that Pixar is doing great and Elemental is the biggest movie of all time of the year, well, that's fine. You can say that, and you can proclaim out there. I mean, you can tell us that there's 1 billion people who watched it. I don't care. Actions are what we believe, and here's what I'm setting this all up for. We have a report now out of a company called Needham, and there are 2 individuals who wrote up this report, Laura Martin and Dan Medina. This was discussed on the Valiant Renegade channel. Folks, go check out that video if you'd like a deeper analysis on this. We're not going to show the actual report because this is just for those who are subscribed to their company. However, one of the things that Bob Iger said, according to this report, to 150 investors, and we're talking about the highest level investors, of course, said this to those individuals last week at Walt Disney World, is that Pixar is going to focus on sequels going forward and not new stories. Now, what does that mean? Well, Steve, it means that Disney has lost confidence in Pixar to create new IPs. All right. Otherwise, if Pixar was making great money with new stuff, then you better believe Disney would say, make more new stuff. They're saying stop. And they're telling investors, because guess what? It's bad enough that they know investors need to hear this. Right? It's not just bad enough that it's internal. It's bad enough that it's external. They're literally telling investors, yeah, we told Pixar, stop it. Start making retreads, please. And not Lightyear crap. We're talking about Toy Story 7. We're talking about Monsters, Inc., where they go to Monsters Assisted Living. I don't care what it is. Exactly. They're going to do derivative stuff because they've lost the confidence in Pixar. Steve.
I feel like there's a channel that we know that's talked about this at least 8 months ago.
Who might it be?
I really don't know. It's like, I feel like it's right in my face and I'm missing it.
But slowly turn in the direction of the WDW Pro avatar, Steve. There you go.
So it's just so funny because, and again, I'll toot your horn for you. Like you guys have been talking about this forever, and now it's all coming out, right? And so before that, it was a conspiracy theory, and what's the
right
timeline?
Conspiracy became reality
within 6 months. It's like a walking meme at this point, or an uploaded video. So I just think it's just funny to me that this is all still just being proven. And honestly, that's why I'm attracted to hanging out with you guys, because you want to tell the truth, you say it like it is, and then lo and behold, here it is. We're all seeing
here's the funny thing, Steve. Is Elemental a sequel, or is it a new movie, a new IP?
Well, it's a new IP.
It's a new IP, right? There's no number behind it. It's not Elemental 2. It's not Elemental 3. And Strange World also not a sequel. Now, Strange World goes to Disney Animation, fair enough. But Lightyear, debatable whether or not that's a sequel. I'm going to say it's a spin-off of some kind. But Elemental, definitely not a sequel. And there's Bob Iger going to investors. The latest Pixar movie, Elemental. There's Bob Iger going to 150 of the biggest investors out there, personally telling them, don't worry, fellas. Don't worry, gals. Don't worry, everybody else. We are not going to make more new stuff like that stinky Elemental. We're going to give you derivatives. We're going to give you sequels. We're going to give you so many sequels you can't hardly stand it. And so, actions speak louder than words. Pixar has lost the confidence of the company to produce new things. You can kiss new Wally's goodbye. You can kiss Up away. It's out. It's gone. And we're just going to get
Direct
1,
to
2, 3,
DVD.
4, 5. That's right. We're getting Planes 17. Might even put some snakes on the plane.
That's genius. I think it's genius.
That's right.
It's a great strategy.
But Steve, they're out there crowing, of course. And I think this is to get ahead of the narrative, and it's to get ahead of the drop in morale at Pixar, because they know the folks at Pixar are going to find out what was said to the investors. This is something you would, good grief, you would never say this when John Lasseter was there.
No.
That would have been, exactly. You would never tell a genius that he's not allowed to make new stuff. But you will tell a defunct studio that they're not allowed to make new stuff. They're going to make sequels. You're a sequel-producing company. You're a sequel system now. Get the sequels out the door. And so Disney is crowing, I believe, about the success of Elemental, because they've got to win over the folks over at Pixar who are now working on the assembly line. That's right.
Because that whole Disney Pixar animation studio is coming.
It's coming. That's right.
He's saving some face so that they don't all just walk, and he can try to keep the best out of that crew before the next round of layoffs. Because I bet you that's probably where a bunch are going to come from.
That's right. But you'll read all kinds, folks, if you're just a casual peruser of the news, you will never hear what we've just said. Instead, you will read what Disney wants you to read and what they want you to believe, which is that Pixar did great. Elemental is setting records, when behind closed doors, they're telling investors, we won't do it again. We promise. We will make them make more John Lasseter stuff. They're not as good at it. We know, but I promise they'll make more John Lasseter stuff. That's what we're going to make them do. And that's what Bob Iger is saying about all of them. Steve, let's go to some cues from you, though. It's
wonderful.
One of our favorite things to do here on the channel is that we open up on the weekend a video where we will answer questions from the members of the channel. And so we've got some wonderful cues from you. Here we go. Jason Barnes, 1435, says, which company do you think is going to capture the market Disney used to have for its children's and family films? DreamWorks and Universal seem to be gaining momentum in that regard. Steve, any thoughts on which company you think will maximize it most?
Well, it all depends on what Skydance does.
John Lasseter there, right? Yeah.
Because let's tie that in. But no, I think you're just going to see healthier competition. I think that's just what's going to happen. I don't think there's going to be anyone that really stands out. I think you're going to see a genuine tug of war between films that are for the younger kids, because Universal, they're not really good at DreamWorks, they're not really good at the younger kids. They're really good at nailing that PG-13, whereas Universal has the ability to hit that GPG. So I think you're just going to see a different focus on each one.
Well, I'm going to give you an answer that I bet not many people out there were expecting. I'm going to say Nintendo. And I'm going to say that for an odd reason. I think that Nintendo, the video game company, is about to go after the princess line that Disney has been so comfortable with. I think that Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, and all those other great characters that they have, they're going to be now on the princess aisle, pushing into Disney's retail space. And I think that Nintendo is also going to do a fantastic job with the rest of their IPs, especially once this Hollywood strike is completely over and they can start announcing major projects. We are still, folks, eager for that Zelda movie to be confirmed that we were exclusively leaking ahead of everybody else earlier in the year, right before Hollywood decided they didn't want to work anymore. Big Sarah says, does Lorne have a solid case for suing his boss for the cruel and unusual punishment of watching Ahsoka? Keep having fun, guys. Steve, what do you think? Should Lorne, should he file a petition?
I think Lauren somewhat actually enjoys it, because he seems to be having some hope as he's watching this show that, like, not everything about Star Wars is junk right now. Like, he doesn't trust it, but he seems to be somewhat enjoying it. So if it's a...
I would say that he does his best to play devil's advocate, but folks, I promise you, I forced Lorne to end his boycott just to do the journalistic endeavor that we're attempting to do and reviewing it fairly. And Lorne's no fan of Disney Star Wars. He takes some flack sometimes, And I promise it's all because I forced him to come back. So
but he also does try to be genuine in his criticisms. Like
he does. KMG Kiss My Grit says, "What musical artist would you like to see perform at the Super Bowl for the first time?"
Floral
Steve,
from
what do
under a
you
rock.
think? You want Floral from under a rock to be there, eh?
I think it'd be great to have a bunch of puppets at the Super Bowl. Why not?
Yeah. In terms of, let's see, who's not been there before? Has Metallica performed for the Super Bowl? I don't think Metallica has performed at the Super Bowl.
No,
Metallica would be a really cool one. I'll throw that out there. I think that would be a cool one, and it's important to get some of those bands that they might not be able to do it at the same level in a few more years. So
what about
Metallica.
NSYNC versus Backstreet Boys having like a standoff? I think that
Lars Ulrich would like to have a talk with you. All right, let's move right on. All right, the Skeptic Tank says, "Panel, what is your take on The Creator? Hearing good things so far. What are the chances Disney botches the handling? At least what little I've read, it's a Disney property under the umbrella of 20th Century Fox. Thanks." Steve, any thoughts on this one? At first, when I read this, I thought The Creator was a reference to God. Considering the capital letters, I thought, here we go into theology.
Here we go. I'll talk about The Creator for sure. Other than just seeing a picture of a dude on a poster, that's like just like a digital poster. That's all I've seen. So I got nothing. You?
Skeptic, we'll have some more information about this as we get closer. We need to get out of the Hollywood strike first and see if there's any retooling of it. And based on what we've been hearing, the Hollywood strike could be coming to an end soon. But if it does, it's probably just a ceasefire because they are apparently, and things can change, but they're apparently negotiating around only 3 years. So only 3 years of adjustments. But we do need to get through the strike before I can give a credible assessment on The Creator so that we can see what actually happens as those writers return. Does it stay the same? Does it get changed? Do the editors come in and make big changes? Don't want to say a positive or a negative and turn out to be in the wrong. Coach O'Dragon says, "All right, since I was away for a week in Nashville, despite being on Twitter, easy question for you and your guest panel." That's you, Steve. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite country song to listen to while on the road or sightseeing? Goes on to talk about how Tim McGraw is his favorite. Steve, you got a favorite country song for the road?
Oh,
you know you're a Willie Nelson fan. Don't even. You've been everywhere, man.
Take Me Home, Country Road.
All right, going with John Denver, of course.
Yeah, but that's the only song because I grew up with country and I just grew away from country. So like George Strait was kind of the main guy played in our house, and Alan Jackson, and now I hear those guys' songs and it just causes my gut to drop and just like, ugh.
Now don't you dare. I know, Steve, that when you hear Chattahoochee, you just you're taken back into beautiful memories of childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one word in it.
So there's so this is gonna be funny when we come back to this because Coach O, there is the baked in response. Everybody would say on this that it's Life is a Highway, and I believe that's Rascal Flatts. Mm-hmm. So everybody would say, oh, that's the one for the road trip you got to listen to. But I'm going to come back to Alan Jackson, who Steve adores. And I'm going to tell you that I got hooked. So I had my great aunt came and spent some time with me, and she has many years under the belt. Not to say that she is old, because that's a 3-letter word. It's a bad word around here. But she was enjoying Alan Jackson, I forget what the name of the hymn album is that he did, but he did an album where he sang the hymns, Christian hymns, and it was a gift to his mother. Mm-hmm. And I have to say that I found that I just found it to be incredible. And so I have enjoyed listening to those, and I could play those while I'm on the road and have a very good time. So there you go.
That being said, I do love bluegrass. So my grandpa, although he was a huge country fan, he was also a bluegrass fan, and I was attracted more to that. Ask me to name a bluegrass song, I got nothing, but just the sound of bluegrass, I love it.
All right, I'm going to give you a song then, Floral. Here's what I want you to listen to after we finish the video. You ready? Since you mentioned bluegrass.
Okay.
You need to listen to If You Don't Love Your Neighbor, Then You Don't Love God by Rhonda Vincent. Very cool song. If You Don't Love Your Neighbor, Then You Don't Love God by Rhonda Vincent. It's a song about being your principled self in public and private. So, very cool. All right, Just J10 says, do the Disney cruise ships have casinos? How do they plan to keep those boats profitable? No, they do not have casinos, and they don't have to do much in the way of planning. They are mega profitable because the prices are so high to get on those cruise ships, but also because of all the things that we talk about here on the channel in regards to Disney. We have to say that we are ultra positive about the cruise ships. Now, I'm not a cruise ship person, and I don't recommend people go get on cruise ships because I don't like them all that much. But if you're looking for a part of the Disney company that they give you your money's worth, and it's a great experience, and it's making money, the cruise ships are the top of the line when it comes to everything that Disney is doing. So kudos to all the folks over there running the cruise lines for Disney and making those decisions. It's great. All right, Steve, final thoughts before we wrap this one up. You think Pixar is going to make a big comeback now with Incredibles 5? Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Maybe they'll finally do a sequel to Bug's Life.
That would, you know what? I would actually kind of like that. Yeah. And they could call it Squashed or something.
That's right. Well, they're kicking the bugs out of the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom. So yeah, it goes perfect.
Yep. No, I think genuinely that probably, and it's not going to happen this year, but maybe within the next 2 to 3 years, that's when you'll see Pixar technically fold into the animation studios. I think you're going to start we're not going to hear about it. We're not necessarily going to see it.
Right. They'll keep the Pixar name. They'll keep the Disney animation, but they'll merge the workworkse, like 80% of it. That's my speculation on how they'll do it.
And you'll see the same names. Just start looking at the credits if you want.
That's right.
Who the animators are, and then you'll just see the same names popping up again and again and again and again.
Steve, you have become an astute viewer of the channel and a great skeptic of Disney.
I try.
That is insightful.
So,
Steve, where can we find you on this great big beautiful web? What are you doing over there? And as I say that, let me give you the full screen so folks can remember that's who he is. Look at those guys over there.
Yeah. So
dapper gentleman in your background.
Yeah. I'm Steve, the creator of Flora from Under a Rock. And so on Wednesdays, we have our main show where we just goof off. Last week, we invaded somebody else's stream and then got them on our stream. And it was just some random schmo. And it was really funny. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time. And so anyway, he actually is like a big musician, apparently. Anyway, so just messing around, having fun, because the whole point is we're not talking.
You're welcome, Alan
politics.
Jackson.
Yep, we're not talking. We don't talk entertainment necessarily. Maybe just a smidge, just to get the ball rolling. But we had Tommy Tables on as well. He was great.
Tommy's so cool.
Yeah,
Tommy's
he's a good guy.
We got to get Stuttering Guitarist on with you. Have you met him yet?
Oh yeah. No, we've been connecting in the background. So, and then on Sundays I have, which is actually when this will be premiering. So I have our, and it's just me doing a little Bible teaching and Q&A thing. So if you have any questions about the Bible, and I do it as the puppet, so my arm is up like this for 45 minutes and to an hour.
Steve, there are folks out there who do not believe you are actually the voice of the characters from Floral from Under a Rock. So is it okay for you to give us the voice of Floral?
Yep, I can do the voice just like this. My name's
and the voice of Wilton?
Well, Wilton, you just go a little bit higher. You have still my voice, just a little bit higher and a little bit of lift.
Is it odd that when you do that, I look back to the puppets, like I look to them to be doing the voice because I can't believe it's coming from you?
Actually, the one that throws everyone off is when I do Melinda. So, and that's the Miss Piggy knockoff. Hello, everybody. My name is Melinda. And so, yeah. And anyway, so that's that.
Very nice, folks. Make sure you get over there and subscribe to all the fantastic content coming from Floral from Under a Rock. And tell Steve that Pro sent you. One other thing, please, folks, if you like content like this, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you do stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Tell us, do you think we were fair or unfair when it comes to Disney having lost confidence in Pixar? Is it fair to say that when a studio is told no more new stuff, and when a company is literally going to their major investors and saying, we promise they won't make anything else that's new, we promise? Do you think that is fair to say then that maybe this narrative out in the press is not so accurate? Let us know down below. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
This is Wilton the Troll reporting for That's Park Place, and I'm surrounded by loving and adoring people who are peacefully trying to make sure that poor kids aren't cold in the winter. And just behind me, you can see a totally natural bonfire for baking cookies or making marshmallows.
Yeah, so, Wilson, we really appreciate the effort and stuff, but we're looking for real and, accurate news reporting on that Park Place.
So not like most news outlets, huh?
No.